Hey guys, it's Carl, and oh boy do we have an interesting video today. This time we'll be going over what is probably my favorite way to play Engineer, the Battle Engineer. The Battle Engineer is an interesting subclass as it deviates rather far from the standard defensive engineer that most people know. Keep in mind that no matter what subclass you play, you should always keep your priorities in check. You are an engineer, and that means that you build things such as teleporters and dispensers for your team to use. Just because you're able to get some kills doesn't mean that you should be completely deviating away from your class's original role, otherwise you'll be a scout for all the difference you'll make with probably the slowest movement speed and the worst scattergun in the game. Now obviously what makes a subclass? Well, a subclass is your loadout. Ideally your loadout should be based on engineer self-defense and not really your building survivability. So shotguns that fire hit-scan bullets would be preferable. Things like the stock shotgun, Widowmaker, Frontier Justice, or Panic Attack offer high DPS and are great for engineer self-defense. While the Rescue Ranger does help keep your sentry gun up, if you're caught without it, you'll most likely get killed as the defending team will get rid of you before you have a chance to build another one. And as for the Thompson? No. Your secondary is subjective. Some people enjoy using the Wrangler as it extends the sentry gun's range and increases its fire rate, as well as adding 300% more health, but if it ever goes down and you need a backup damage dealer for your self-defense, usually the pistol provides a more reliable source, if your shotgun is ever to run dry. And the sword circuit is mediocre. I mean, it's okay in some cases, but it's really more of a defensive-based weapon as it allows the engineer to destroy projectiles, so it might not be as useful for the battle engineer as the pistol or even the Wrangler. Now I'd say what definitely makes this subclass its own is the melee weapon. As a battle engineer, you should be more focused on pushing and capturing the objective, so speed is an absolute necessity. The most popular choice by far is the gunslinger as it offers the mini sentry, the smallest, fastest, and to some, most annoying sentry gun. As your sentry gun is mostly a distraction play at best in this form, and can even pick off a few lower health enemies, it makes an absolutely fantastic supportive damage dealer. Next we have the Jag, and oh boy does it work wonders if you just want a little bit more punch to your sentry gun. Because you can deploy your sentry gun so damn quick and upgrade it just as fast, it is fantastic for keeping the pressure up on the defending team. It can also work wonders at stopping them from flanking you or overextending, as it can deny the enemies a large choke point or flanking route if they try to get the drop on you. Wow, that may sound great and all, Carl, but what about the Stock Wrench, Eureka Effect, and Southern Hospitality? Well, they all suffer from a similar issue, and that is their sluggishness. While this may not be an issue if you're on the defending team, they are rather redundant on offense because of it, as you will usually be close enough for the defending team to destroy it before you can have your gun fully up, unless you're in stalemate, which even then that means that you've probably lost and the defenders have most likely won. Keep in mind that this isn't always the case, but it is extremely likely when you're on offense just because these wrenches are configured more towards defense, in particular the Southern Hospitality due to its ability to track down cloaked spies. So to summarize your loadout choices, you should be using a hit-scan based primary, the pistol or Wrangler, and lastly, the Jag or Gunslinger. This loadout cares little about your building's health and instead is focused on fast, quick damage and self-defense. Think of it similar to a scout, except instead of running fast, you can build sentries, dispensers, and teleporters, which is what you should be doing if you listen to my advice. In terms of battle engineer strategy, your main plan should be getting rid of lighter classes who tend to overextend, such as Pyro and Scouts, while also allowing an area of safe haven for your teammates to fall back to, as well as giving them a safe and reliable way to teleport to the front lines very quickly. Don't think that you should be completely babysitting your buildings though. In fact, if you are, stop. You're being a turtle. Please don't play like that. That's a fucking horrible way to play. Move away from your buildings. Take advantage of your extremely fast sentry building ability and use many sentries to your advantage to do quick damage and get rid of any enemies that might be trying to overextend. And if you feel like shotgunning down people, as previously mentioned, the Frontier Justice and Widowmaker are great weapons for this. Push the objective while your sentry gun offers great area denial for any enemies that are trying to overextend, and then you can just lay back while your team does the rest, because you provided the support that they need to win the game. And overall, that's your strategy as a battle engineer. Just help your team. You're a supportive class. So don't be super sad when you don't get as many kills as you might have expected, because that's not really the role of battle engineer. Now, it's obviously a pretty good skill to know when you should actually be playing Battle Engineer. Truth is, you can play him whenever you want as long as you're doing your job as an engineer, but there are particular moments where it's more effective than others. Maps such as Payload, King of the Hill, Attack/Defense, and Control Points really cater towards the Battle Engineer. This is because you're playing offense more than 50% of the time typically, so pushing is a huge element, which, as I previously mentioned, is also a pretty big element of the engineer, at least the Battle Engineer, that is. Now, particularly when I mentioned that you could also play this class on defense, a great combination weapons that really shows how powerful the defensive battle engineer can be is the Frontier Justice and the Jag. Chances are when you're defending, your sentry gun is likely accumulating kills over a period of time, and if you choose the correct time to destroy your sentry gun, you can wipe out any enemies that are unlucky or stupid enough to find themselves face to face with an engineer who can one-shot them for 180 damage. So yes, while the battle engineer is obviously geared more towards offense, it can just as effectively be played on defense. Now the strategies I just mentioned above are the reasons why I just absolutely adore playing the battle engineer, as you're able to still support your team while also being a very big threat to the enemy team if they're not focused on taking you out. But keep in mind, and I cannot stress this enough, just because you are focused on killing people and not your building's well-being doesn't mean that you shouldn't build any at all. Your team absolutely needs the support of a consistent and reliable health and ammo supply, while also having a quick way to get to the front lines. Well, I'd say I just about taught you everything I know about the battle engineer and everything that you'll probably need to know for being successful. Just make sure that you're keeping those supportive buildings up, I cannot stress that enough. Once those are up, have fun shotgunning down people while building annoying mini sentries to get on the enemy's nerves. Just make sure that your team has a teleporter and a healthy dispenser for giving them health. Other than that, I hope you learned a thing or two about playing engineer, and I hope you take this knowledge into the battlefield. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.